Everybody, welcome to HackerKast. What is this, HackerKast 17, 18?
18.
18. And I'm Jeremiah Grossman, founder and CEO of White Hat Security. I'm with Robert Arsenic Hansen. There he is there in Austin, Texas. And we also got Matt Johansen, manager of TRC, the Hacker Army in Houston, Texas.
Hello, hello.
And today we're going to talk about as we do every single week, current events and application security, because it's always a lot of stuff going on. It's really difficult to keep up. We have a difficult time, so we have to talk to each other about what's going on. So let's jump right into it, guys. There was some stories going around about Verizon and a company called Turn doing strange things. Well, I have to describe what Turn is, but doing strange things with ad tracking and super cookies and things like that. So, Robert, you have a lot of experience in this one. So what were these guys up to?
So Verizon basically has this unique tracking HTTP header that they're sending across the wire on every HTTP request. So as you traverse the internet, if there's somebody on the other end who can read that, they can effectively figure out that you are the same person, even if you do something like use a proxy or do something like try to clear your cookies and cache or whatever. All that stuff just sort of doesn't work. So it's neat because if they set a cookie in your browser and they've tied it to your IP address or something, and then later on for some reason you change IP addresses and then you come back and you've blown away your cookies and cache, they can sort of rebuild that and figure out that you are in fact the same person. So there's recommendations around how to protect yourself, for instance, using Tor. So your IP address is different, but also the HTTP header isn't being sent across the wire, or using a VPN as opposed to a traditional proxy. So your sort of endpoint is actually encrypted all the way through, so they can't tag it. So for now, those seem to work. And Verizon basically said, "Oh, don't worry, no one probably will never ever use that." And then immediately afterwards, they found out people were using this. I don't even think it took a whole week.
It just goes to show you that the advertisers are not acting in the user's best interest. I mean, like, really? You blow away your cookies in there, and they go out of their way to make it so they can rebuild your history profile? I mean, that's just weak. That's really uncool.
You got to read the headline. You got to read the headline.
Go ahead.
Okay, remember that undeletable super cookie Verizon claimed wouldn't be abused. Yeah, well, funny story about that. And this is up on TechDirt. All right, so you were mentioning, so how do you protect against this, and is it really something the average user is going to be able to do?
Yeah, the only ways to really do that is to have endpoint encryption to an external third-party system, or just don't use Verizon at all. In fact, strangely, that was Verizon's advice. They said if this is really concerning to you, then Verizon probably isn't the right service for you. So I've never heard anyone give advice like just don't use our product. But
yeah. Joke's on you, and that's the only thing you've got. That's kind of.
So yeah, I mean, Tor and VPN is pretty much it. But that's not really great advice because there's all kinds of other things that probably are communicating over your same connection. It's not just your laptop, let's say. You also have your mobile phone. You have your Xbox or whatever. All these things making outbound HTTP requests, and all of that stuff is going to be tagged with the same ID.
That's just so yet another place. I mean, what did we track the last time when we were building Aviator? We were tracking like 14, 15 different cookie-like devices in the browser that you had to delete, and it was like impossible using the GUI facilities.
Yeah, I mean, that you actually bring up a good point. If you use something like disconnect, you can block the HTTP request being made to that remote server, which will effectively stop that super cookie from being sent to the advertiser. It won't stop it from being sent to whatever website you're connecting to. So if you're connecting to eBay or something, eBay will still be able to figure out who you are, but the advertiser that's on eBay's webpage, let's say, won't be able to do that, as an example.
Yeah, it's pretty god awful, really. I mean, browser privacy got to the point where it's out of reach for the average user. That's pretty dang horrible.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I wish we had some good news, but we're security pros and we don't do that. So what we will do is make a bad situation worse. And but I think the NSA beat us to this one. So Robert, the NSA is using ads.
Yeah, they are, and we've sort of already kind of known that they were going to do this for other stuff. For instance, we knew that they were going to be doing this for double-click type ads or whatever that you'd traditionally see as you're traversing the web. You still have the same double-click ID. They can figure out that you're the same person, that kind of stuff. But this is worse. It's because it's much harder to block. So basically what the NSA is doing is they're looking at ads and looking at the geo information in ads. And they're looking at, for instance, how long you're doing something. Certain types of ads are only instantiated in certain ways, so they're not like always appearing. They only appear after you've lost a video game or when you're first starting it up or whatever. So different ads are called at different times. So basically, NSA was saying, we know how bad you are at Angry Birds, as sort of a joke. But I mean, basically, I think what it comes down to is any one of those ad networks that sends geo to figure out, we want to target local whatever, coffee shops to you or something. That information is being sniffed by the NSA. So this is actually one of the reasons why ads really are just plain out terrible. I mean, they're actually being used in this way. And Disconnect has a mobile browser that Google basically put the kibosh on, mobile secure browser that basically hooks up through a VPN that should stop some of this or limit it anyway.
So yeah, ads are not only annoying, offensive, but they also are dangerous to your privacy and your computer's security. So block them, and your life will be better.
and you'll be surfing the internet faster.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny. The first, we kind of take bandwidth for granted in the U.S., but I was in South Africa a long time ago, and they pay for their bandwidth by the meg. So they actually routinely block ads down there just as a substantial cost-saving measure.
And any real hacker probably should, because there's all kinds of weird situations where you need a proxy through things, and it's just obnoxious to have all those extra requests going over the wire and potentially slow links or whatever. Tor is another example.
All right, let's cover this other story here. So Matt, we were looking at this story called Hackers List, and I think you or Robert had a great definition of what this new website, this service is.
Yeah, I think Robert coined this, but I'm going to steal it and pretend like I did. He called it the O-Desk for hackers. For those of you not familiar with O-Desk, it's kind of a cheap, easy way to put up, hey, I need this thing done, and I'm willing to pay X dollars for it. Well, Hackers List is now something that exists, and it's that same kind of thing, but it's, hey, I need this Facebook hacked into, I'm willing to pay $100. I'd like my grade changed, and I'm willing to pay $600.
Is this like an unfulfilled niche on Craigslist? Is that what's going on here?
I mean, we've been kind of laughing about this internally of how many emails we get within the circle of the three of us for these kinds of requests, like on Twitter or via email all the time. And it's like, hey, now there's a service. Someone saw some startup capabilities here.
Anything that eliminates or reduces the amount of, will you please help me hack my girlfriend's Facebook account, please? I'm really all for.
Totally.
But I'm also kind of thinking, like, well, these activities that you mentioned, Matt, are clearly illegal. Is the site an illegal underground site, or are they actually thinking there's going to be crowdsourced hacking activities that are legal in this way? That are legal.
I'm not an expert on what the laws say about this, but I would assume that this might be a dangerous assumption, but I would assume that the actual transaction of these things are not illegal. The actual act of doing it is illegal. I don't know.
I totally disagree with that. I think it's
all right.
100% totally illegal. Oh yeah. I mean, in the same way, taking money and saying, hey, will you buy that gun for me? I mean, clearly this was going to get taken down. In fact, it's probably a honeypot. I would never, ever go to this site if I were legitimately a bad guy. It's a terrible, terrible idea. But it's a good idea for the underground, and I could totally see something like this existing over a Tor hidden service or something. But as a straight-up website where anyone can go to it and hang out, it's just a terrible idea.
So I think the guise that this is under, right? So of course the article says, yeah, who knows how legal this is, but the terms of service of the website say, and I quote, it is against the site's term of service to, quote, use the service for any illegal purposes.
That's it?
I think the guys that they're going under here is you could hire someone to help break into your own stuff if you need to get back into your own stuff.
Yeah, which is also illegal, by the way. But
I can see this. I lost the password to my locked Word or Excel file. Please hack into it for me, or something like.
I can't get into my iPhone. Please get into it. But I mean, my final grade, please. Hack into my school and change my grade. That's a little out there.
Eagle tried this once, and they found out pretty quick that you are not allowed to do this type of thing.
Well, it's just for all the viewers here. This is the same thing we tell everybody that works at White Hat, everybody in TRC, every hacker. It's you don't hack, you don't touch anything, you don't have express written consent. And so that keeps you out of trouble. Don't be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. We make fun of those guys. Don't be that guy. Let's go to the last one. And this is my personal favorite this week. And it's not to say that I'm not biased, but White Hat through OWASP released the Application Security Quick Start Guide. So free project, free download, free. So hard to beat free. So what's going on here is in application security, let's say a company wants to more formalize or just get out and start an application security program. They want to know all the components. Do they need vulnerability assessment testing? They want to know how to find their websites, rank their importance. They want a program, not necessarily just a pen test or how to develop secure code, but they want to have a organizational program that they can ascribe to and get all the constituencies in place. But if you look real closely at the industry, this resource, a quick start guide, something that you get up and running, just didn't exist. It was kind of weird. It was just a major oversight from all the experts. So a bunch of us at White Hat got together with customers and started huddling together and started putting out, what are the basic simple steps that every application security program should have. Kept it very simple, under 10 or 12 pages or so, really bullet pointed, and just walk people through the creation of a program. And so we said, okay, but we want to share this with the world, so what better way through OWASP? So we gave it over to OWASP. So it's under Creative Commons license. So if you want to use it, abuse it, edit it, delete it, whatever you want to do, it's there for you. So it's getting a lot of downloads. So I guess we struck a chord.
That's pretty cool stuff. I mean, anything to make people's lives easier.
Yeah, and just to go into like 2 seconds more detail, what we mean by quick start guide is, okay, what do you do on day one? You come into an organization and your responsibility is that organization's web application, web footprint. Like, what is it? Like, what's going on? Day one, what do you do? Day two, what do you do? Day three, what do you do? Right? And there's a lot of hand waving in the guide of what you can do in a day, but it's just a rule of thumb. These are some things that would probably be a good idea to start getting your ducks in a row to start building an AppSec program from nothing. So.
And it's really important because as application security grows, there's just a lot of newcomers to application security. So we have to keep our tools and our processes and our guidance simple. So we need a lot more simple resources out there to help people out. That's current events for this week's HackerKast. Matt is actually you had some demos ready to show password cracking. Do you not?
Yeah, I think we're going to split it up though. So. Let's wrap up HackerKast, and then we'll make a separate video here. And for those of you interested in some password cracking, you can check it out this week.
We really appreciate the ratings, the reviews, the comments. So click thumbs up, subscribe, whatever your choice, and really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.